Now I've checked out a collection of mechanical keyboards here on this channel, especially of the budget variety. Honestly, I don't know what the key factor was that hit the switch that made me fall deep into the mechanical keyboard community, but sometimes I gotta press Ctrl-Alt-Delete just to come back to my senses.
Bruh.
I know, that was bad. What's good with it? It's your kinfolk Dookie, back again with Bang. Budget and new gear reviews to help you get the best bang for your tech dollars. For the most part, the word budget isn't really synonymous with the custom DIY mechanical keyboard community. Custom cases, plates, and keycaps can be kind of expensive and make the price of your build skyrocket. For a while now, I've wanted my own mechanical build, and thanks to a collaboration with Pete at OneUpKeyboards.com, this video is possible. I had questions, he had answers, and the solution was one of their DIY 60% skeleton kits with a few custom options. Now I really only had two must-haves when I started this process. It must be a 60% board because that's the size I mainly use on my desk. And secondly, it had to be hot swappable because I don't have the setup nor the time to do a lot of soldering. Thankfully, it comes with everything you need to get started, so let's check out all the parts that come in the kit. First, we get our stabilizers, pre-assembled, which I will touch on a bit more later. We also get these beautiful blue feet that look so good I almost wish they weren't going to be hidden underneath the build. You get two plates, which essentially make up the case of this unit. I gotta admit, I love the branding on the bottom as well. And your hot swappable PCB, with USB-C in the correct place to switch to other 60% cases if I decide to at a later date. Now here's where we deviate from the kit just a little bit. Pete sent over the Xilinx version 2 switches at 65 kilograms, tactile, non-clicky. Lately, I've been mainly using browns and reds, so I was pretty excited to try out a different style and see how they feel. I won't talk about the keycaps much here, but I finally get a chance to use the set from Matrix Keys that I picked up thanks to an episode of Bad Seed Tech. Now let's talk about the build process and allow me to be honest about my experience. At first I was pretty hesitant because I just simply didn't want to mess anything up. There are pretty good instructions on the website, and Pete himself does live streams where he put this kit together that I used as a reference. You start with the stabilizers and the PCB logo down on a flat surface. The stabilizers have a slight hook on one side and screws that you attach from the bottom on the other. Next, you take the plate and lay it down on top. Now it's time to start attaching the switches. There are two pins that you line up with the corresponding holes and push the switch down while lifting the plate up. I did it in the four corners to attach the plate and PCB steadily while I place the rest of the switches. Here's where I ran into my first hiccup: bent pins. It was my fault. I wasn't placing the switch properly and ended up bending a pin. Honestly though, it wasn't that big of a deal to bend it back and keep on attaching switches. Once all the switches were placed, I connected a USB cable and opened up a keyboard tester to make sure all the keys were responding. Any that didn't, I just pulled the switch and checked the pins. Once I verified that we were good to go, I moved on with the process. Next, I attached the standoffs, then secured the feet to the bottom plate. After that, we simply attached the bottom plate to the standoffs, and now we're ready for keycaps. Now, keycap sets can get pretty expensive, depending on the type of material, the profile, colorway. Man, there's so many options, and it can get really pricey. Matrix Keyboards has a few sets of full 104 key double shot backlit PBT kits that are available for order with no group buys needed. I already had the Caribbean kit sitting around and I figured this was a great time to use it. Man, the pride you feel when you take something and you put it together and it just works, it's a beautiful thing. Honestly, it's quite similar to building a PC. You take all your parts and you assemble it, and when you hit that power button and everything boots up, I know for us tech enthusiasts, it's a great feeling of joy. To take it to the next level, I checked out the QMK configurator to flash a proper firmware to the board. Thankfully, this board already has some default options that I liked, so I didn't change anything, but honestly, you could really customize the key functions to your heart's content. I won't lie, I'm low-key embarrassed about just how long it took me to figure out how to control the layers. Layer 1 is the function key, and layer 2 is the function plus right Windows key. Big shout out to McMerlin and his videos on flashing your board. They really helped me out. Before we go any further, let me stop teasing you. It's time for that sound test. Man, I really can't explain what typing on these silents feels like. It's not exactly silent, but it is quieter than any switch I've tried. Very little key wobble, and that bump early in the press just feels so smooth. Now the stabilizers are a little noisier than I'd like. So make sure you check back for a later video while I pull them out and lube them up. Come on, get your mind out of the gutter. Now that I have a working custom build, what is daily use of it like? Honestly, I was surprised by the overall build quality once it was finally put together. When you first pulled the kit out, I was like, these are just thin sheets with no middle, so how is this going to hold up? Well, once it's put together, it actually feels pretty sturdy. I've gamed and typed quite a bit, and just from day-to-day use, it feels pretty good. Now when you stress it out and put flex on it, well, it will bend a bit, but I've actually had fully built boards with big cases on them that flex more, especially in the middle. Also, I would like to put a middle piece on here. This board has underglow RGB, as you can see, with no middle. Those LEDs are a little more visible than I'd like. Maybe a glass fiber middle will smooth it out just a bit. Now, I also think I'd like to try a different case, but honestly, since this is my first baby, I feel like I'm gonna leave it as it is and save that for another build in another video. Oh, look at her, she's so cute. Oh, it's so beautiful. So, what do you guys think? Have you ever built your own custom keyboard? If so, hit me on Twitter and Instagram at DVZMedia and show off those pics. I'ma get up out of here. It's your kinfolk Dookie. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and never forget to holler at your boy.